Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everyone to our webinar with Intracom, Telecom, and CTIconnect. Okay, we'd like to start out by introducing Bernie, who is with CTIconnect, and Alex, who's with Intracom. And I'm going to turn the introduction over to Bernie. Are you available right now?
I am, yes. Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Bernie Batenberg. I am Managing Director of Revenue here at CTIconnect. Happily joined by Alex Cernick, Vice President of Radios and Antennas. The both of us, well, Alex will go through the Intracom presentation, and I will go through a little bit about CTIconnect in case anybody on the call does not know, although I do not see where I can move the presentation.
Okay, whoops, sorry about that. Here, I'll help you out. Let me help you out here.
Thank you.
Give me a second. Okay, next slide. There you go.
Yeah, if you could hit it a couple more times, there's a few, there you go. One of the main points about CTIconnect is that we are part of a large organization called Convergence Technologies. And what you see here on the slide deck is the Convergence family of companies. It is a comprehensive in-house of expertise between the four entities. CTIconnect is all focused on wireless hardware supply and distribution. We have a sister company called Vitotech, and they focus on IT network and infrastructure services, managed services, a VoIP solution, white label VoIP, and network and infrastructure services. The third sister company is IPPay. IPPay is our credit card processing, gateway and billing company. And then the fourth entity is iNet Capital. iNet Capital is our leasing financial services organization. The four of us make up the Convergence families of companies. We are all operating separately from one another, but do share the same resources and do work together to offer, you know, world-class value add relative to the rest of the industry in terms of being able to give you all aspects of the telecom space. Next slide, please. Thank you. We've been in the telecom market since 1995. We are a premier distributor of fixed wireless telecom network infrastructure. Our main market is serving the internet service providers. We also play around in other different vertical markets like utilities, government, enterprise, transportation, all throughout North America and CALA as well, actually. We offer world-class engineering, network design, and of course our superior supply chain services. And again, offering a total system solution with a personal and expert touch. That's a point we don't take lightly. Everybody on our staff is very well trained, and we take that very seriously, that expert touch and great customer service. Just like today, we're offering you a new product line, inclusive of our expansive portfolio of products. Intracom is a newcomer to the industry. We're excited to be offering a technology like this along with the other different technologies that we offer. And we also have an Apex 9 in-house quality brand of hardware and accessories as well. So please ask about our Apex 9 branded cables and accessories for your needs. Next slide, please.
One second. There we go.
And just real quick, these are our different facilities. We have one distribution facility in Burr Ridge in Illinois, as well as another distribution facility in Round Rock in Texas. We do have an expert logistics team in both warehouses. Our sales staff is located all over the country, actually, for full coverage. We have some bodies in the Midwest, some in the Southeast. The Southeast Riviera Beach is actually where our headquarters is. And there are several bodies down there as well as remotely spread out throughout the US. And here's just a look at our team. If you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out for any of the sales executives and account managers on our staff. They'll be ready and willing to help as soon as you do have any questions. With that, I believe that's a quick brief on CTIconnect. Now I'll turn it over to Alex Cernick. Alex, please go ahead and tell us about your great new solution.
Before you start, I just wanted to mention that if anybody has any questions, you can just type your questions in on the side of your screen. There's a little Q&A section, and at the end of the presentation, we'll answer your questions. Okay, thank you, Alex.
Thank you, and thank you, Bernie. My name is Alex Cernick. I am a VP of Radio and Antenna Solutions. What we have today is a very unique product line. So my background has been exclusively distribution in the telecom space. In that 15+ years, I have had the experience of working with just about every vendor in the industry. So it gave me a good glimpse of how they want to market, what their channel programs are looking like, but ultimately, what is their value and how they communicate that to their customers. When we first designed our channel, we looked for partners, and CTIconnect is the perfect example of a value-added service provider who can bring this compelling offering to the market. In the presentation we have in front of us, I'm going to talk about a lot of things. I will try to keep them grounded based on applications. So I'll go through this presentation. Give me a second to get to the intro slide. Hold on. There you go. So we'll talk about North America in particular and what are some of the reasons people are moving to E-Band. What does that market look like? From there, we'll move into Intercom Telecom. What is the product? What are some of the features, functions, and differentials? But most importantly, what are the applications, the use cases, the pain points that it's addressing for our customers? Then we'll dig into, again, those applications, how we fit, and we'll tie this last into one of our roadmap products that will make us extremely unique and will address some of the major concerns that a lot of you are having today. So for North American E-Band market, why are people moving to E-Band radios? I'd say there are 5 major challenges. One, you have what Ericsson coined a connected society. Use myself as an example. I work from my house. My wife works from my house. I've got 2 young kids, a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old, who surprisingly at this age stream content. We cut the cable cord. I have 4 TVs that will do Amazon, Netflix, Hulu Plus. I am not a unique scenario. More and more customers like myself are moving to streaming services, which that coupled with IoT and connected devices means it's putting a huge strain on service provider networks. So to compensate, they're looking for what is the next generation, higher bandwidth, further distances. And a lot of that's pushing over to E-Band or 80 gigahertz. You'll see that with sub 6 gig, and that would be your 5.8s, your 5.4s, and your 5.2s. Cost conscious, however, limitation in regards to channel size and capacity. Traditional license being 611, 1823, it's hard to get 80 megahertz channels in metro or suburban environments. And when you're looking for 2+0 architectures, you could be $20,000 plus to be at a 2 gigabit per second solution. And then you have the traditional argument of wireless versus fiber and that TCO argument. And finally, we've got to a part where wireless and E-Band in particular is almost imperceptible to a fiber line from capacity, from reliability. As we know, with 80 gigahertz, how you get to 10 gigabits per second, it's simple. It is larger channel sizes. So with your sub 6 gig, you could be using 80 megahertz channels. Same thing with licensed. With E-band radios, our radios operate in 1500 megahertz, others will operate in 2000. So what that gives you is the ability to offer multi-gig performances. As you know, the higher you go in frequency, you're also susceptible to atmospheric conditions. So trade-offs would be distances. Most systems are operating between the 1 and 3 mile ranges with our product, and I'll throw around the term proprietary, but what makes us completely unique is the way we do our coding, our transceivers, our modems. They are not off the shelf. And what that gives us is the ability to do 3 things: to go further distances, to be more reliable, and to offer more bandwidth than any other radio in our class. And I'll further quantify that in later slides. In regards to the industry, what we have here is a report for Skylight Research. And this gives us an idea of the 80 gig E-band market. And for FY19, it provides Q1 and Q2. What this doesn't show is Q3 and Q4. What these trends are showing is E-band is doubled in size in a very short period of time. And the expectation is this market is to grow exponentially between now and 2025. Now, there's a lot of things driving it. I used me as an example as a consumer, but you have a lot of carriers that are driving this with 5G. You have IoT driving this behavior with the, was it $4 to $20 billion that are supposed to be spent over the next several years. So millimeter wave is truly the only platform that can give you multi-gig transport services at a cost-effective medium. So I searched forever for this slide to find an apple within an orange. I believe it to be powerful. But what we're saying here is our differentials are not only our products, but it's the way we're going to market. So when we developed this channel program, we created a best of approach. A product without a channel program does not lead to success. So with our program, we have a 3-tier system. The goal behind this is simple. It's to reward net new opportunities. If you're a distributor, if you're a VAR, if you're an end user, you want to be protected. And through this program, we have the ability to mitigate conflict. So if you're a VAR and you have engineering services and you're on site with a customer, our pledge to you is you're not going to lose this to your competition because of price, through deal registration, through non-standard pricing, through volume purchasing agreements. We have several vehicles that ensure that our partners have all the ammunition they need to win deals. From lead distribution to marketing and sales tools, we provide the content that helps you fish, so to speak, helps you be successful in developing opportunities, to converting prospects. And just about every call I do, I use a stat. And I think this is true in any industry. It takes between 5 and 7 touch points to convert an opportunity. So if you're a VAR hearing this, we want to help prevent, we're willing to help provide you with some of those tools, being how to position the product, pre-scripted emails, things you can put on social media, tools that enable, again, your success. And then we back that all with our pledge and guarantee that we stand behind this product and we're here to support you in any way possible. Now that moves us to our other value of product, right? So what Intracom Telecom is, there are 1,700 employees. I use it's a bad joke, but it's the best company you might not have heard of. What that means is internationally, they have global acclaim. In the US, they have targeted carriers. And for the last 5 years, they have had a lot of success, but only targeting Verizon's, AT&T's, T-Mobile USA, and then their vehicle through that was Vivint Wireless. Now, where we are today with myself, with CTIconnect, it's building out that vertical market. It's taking this product that's been developed for carriers and bringing it into a matrix market. So what we'll talk about today from a radio perspective are 2 different buckets. We'll have our E-Band bucket, which constitutes of 3 products. We have a BX70 radio. This is a TDD 1.6 gigabit. It is asymmetric. Where this fits, though, it allows us to combat sub 6 gig. So if you were deploying Cambium PTP650s, or if you were looking at a RAV1 solution, we offer more bandwidth around the same price points. And then we have our flagship product with the UltraLink FX80, where we're able to offer 3 gigabits of transport speeds where others offer 2. And then our 10 gig product with our GX80 line. Now, the other product line we have, and this will be towards the tail end of this presentation, is our V-Band product, which is a street node. Now, this one has some crazy features. One, it's full duplex in a half duplex world. Second is it's the only radio that I know of that can virtually install itself. That's self-healing. Now, all of this is what Intracom brings to the table. With over 40 years of experience, local presence in 19 countries, and 3 R&D centers, they're able to offer these technologies because they invest in themselves. And you'll see that throughout this presentation. With our products, special sauce, and I mentioned, and I use the word proprietary, it's all around system gain. We're able to offer up to 10 dB more than our competitors, and we're able to do that with our state-of-the-art in-house modem designs, which are not off the shelf. They are not wide gig. Again, we'll use the word proprietary, but it gives us the ability to do, again, those 3 things: to go further, to be more reliable, and to offer more bandwidth. So the title of this presentation was doing more with less. So our claim here is identify the links, we'll run them through Link Planner, and we'll show you gains that you have not seen before. Those 2 product lines, E-Band and V-Band, we put them in 2 different classifications. The E-Band products can go up to distances of 5 miles. Sweet spots, I'd say, is 1.5 miles to 3.5 miles. These are external systems for connection on your antennas, 1 foot and 2 foot, which are lightly licensed. Our V-Band systems, it's an integrated antenna design. 1/2 mile is the max. And again, those are full duplex capacities. So V-Band, you're targeting your MDUs, your street level designs, great for CCTV, aggregation point for video surveillance and security. E-Band is great as a peering point, as an extension of a fiber pop. Traditional applications, most things fall in these buckets. You've got internet backhaul of traffic between the pop sites. You've got connectivity of customer sites for business, connectivity of the customer sites on the residential side. Most of that will be MDUs. And you see a lot of connectivity of the customer site from a carrier-to-carrier perspective. Now, in this example, and we spent millions of dollars on this right here, is an example of a guy having maybe a little bit too much to drink who accidentally cuts the fiber. But one of the applications can be in concert to fiber, physical diversity, if you will. So what we see as a majority of those applications are working off that fiber pop and either offering a replacement to fiber or working in concert too. And again, this falls under that TCO argument of offering similar performances at the same reliabilities. Now, our FX80 radio I mentioned is our flagship. What this product is, it operates in the 71 to 76 and 81 to 86 gigahertz band channels. This is one of the most spectrally efficient radios in the market. At two different options, you've got a 250 megahertz channel and a 500 megahertz channel. With this radio, and this falls into that unique modem design, we're able to add up to 10 dB more gain. So that could mean we're more granular as you step down through your adapter rate modulation. But compared to our competitors, this radio does, again, those three things. And we've had a lot of success displacing our incumbents, where we're offering a 3 gigabit per second radio while they're operating and offering a 2. And again, we're able to go further distances, be more reliable, and offer that more bandwidth. Typical applications here, this is ranging, it'll go up to 5 miles. Usually we're seeing this, again, 1.5 to 3.5, but based on where you are in the world, it varies. As I mentioned, these radios are built for carriers. So if you have picocell front haul applications, we have SIP transport built into this. To keep it simple, we also offer zero-touch auto configuration via Bluetooth. From an interface perspective, this radio has 2 electrical ports and 1 optical port, and that can be either single mode or multi-mode fiber optic cable. Now, with this radio, if you wanted 1 gig, you would run 1 Cat5, 2 gig, 2 Cat5, and then if you wanted 3 gigabit per second of speed, it would be the fiber optic cable in concert to 2 electrical cables. Now, with this radio, we also want to reduce points of failure. What that means is you have either AC or DC power supply option. So you can either power this directly with AC power it directly with DC power, or if you choose, you can leverage either an indoor or outdoor PoE injector. Getting to the nitty-gritty of how that 10 dB more gain comes into play, its correlation is in channel size and receive sensitivity and transmit power. So we are at modulation schemes, we're able to step down more granularly and have better receive sensitivities and transmit powers, which correlates to those extra gains. What you'll see here is adapter rate modulation broken out from 256 QAM. We're able to hitlessly step down all the way to 4. And then we break this out via frame size as well. This gives you an idea of what a traditional installation looks like. Again, direct connect antennas, either 1 foot or 2 foot parabolics. So for this radio, main selling features are highest system gain over competition, highest spectral efficiency, leveraging a 500 megahertz channel. We are able to, again, starting at 256 QAM, we're able to step down. Now, when you design these solutions and you're looking at your further distance links, let's say 4 miles, 4.5, 5 miles, the constraint isn't multipathing. The constraint is how does a radio respond when it rains? And having that extra 10 dB built into it, I don't want to say as extreme as moving from a 2 foot to a 1 foot, but it could be the difference between having 4 nines and having 3 nines. And again, being built for carriers, you have all the layer 2 enrichment built into this radio, along with the SIP remote modules as well. Applications for this, if I was a carrier, I'd be looking at this for small cell based backhaul, front haul backhaul. From a fixed broadband perspective, this could be a fiber to the home application, a DSLAM backhaul, a fiber route backhaul, or even a ring enclosure. A lot of the applications are ultra high capacity to campus connectivity applications, so it can be in the utility verticals, it can be a smart city application, it can be for a hospital. We did something the other day for oil and gas where we were taking their collector units for their surveillance cameras and sensors and backhauling them to a main location. Anywhere where you need high-speed transport, this is a fantastic product line. Our 10 gig radio, which is our UltraLink GX80, has a lot of the same special sauce as our FX, being you've got the same 10 dB more system gain, but you're also more spectrally efficient. We're able to obtain the same results as those using a 2000 megahertz channel and a 1500 megahertz channel. With this radio, it also has set some records in distance, and I'll quantify that in a few later slides. And then with this radio, it also has 3 CPRI interfaces with a option 7. You have IP and MPLS ready, SDNN ready, and then the same 1 foot or 2 foot parabolic dishes. Very granular as well in regards to architecture. You can have a 1+0, a 1+1 hot standby, a 2+0, or 2+0 with XPIC. And then coming soon, a dual band option. Now, you'll say, well, there's others with dual band options. What makes that different? We've got a slide section coming up, but we have a product that works with a 11, 18, or 23 gigahertz system. The difference is it works with every system. And I'll show you what that looks like a little bit later. From an interface perspective, this radio, we use an SFP plus port, so it can be single mode or multi-mode. It can be a DC direct power, or if you choose PoE, PoE up. We have 3 CPRI ports, SFP pluses with option 7s, but usually for these deployments, we'll use an optical cable up or run another cable for in-band management, and 50-50 with customers who choose indoor or outdoor PoE versus a direct DC power. This radio also comes with Bluetooth zero touch configuration. Now, this is a very compelling application. It was in St. Petersburg, Russia. Now, what this trial was, it was a link distance of 8.27 kilometers. I had to ask Siri what that was, so that was 5.14 miles. What we demonstrated over a 3-month period without service interruptions was 10 gigabits per second at a link availability of 3 nines and an 8. This same link, and this is, you can Google this or I can send this out, the same link, the same customer, they had a link that was 13 kilometers. Now it's 8 miles. We don't broadcast availability, but the takeaway is we were able to have a viable link at 8 miles with a millimeter wave 10 gig radio. That's important because you take that and you couple that with a dual band solution. Our expectation is in a very short period of time, we will have a viable means for customers to go up to 10 miles and offer gigabit speeds. Applications here, if it's mobile broadband, it could be macro or micro base stations. For fixed broadband, it could be metro Ethernet networks, fiber routes. Again, anywhere that you need to have 10 gigs of capacity. Our BX70 radio, as I mentioned prior, is a radio designed to compete in that sub-6 gig world. Frequency changes a little bit on this. This is 71 to 76 gigahertz transmit power. Again, this is an asymmetric TDD radio. From an adapter rate perspective, from 256 QAM down to 4 QAM. The radio will offer 1.6 gigabits per second at 64 bytes. Has 2 Ethernet interfaces, sorry, 2 GigE interfaces, one electrical and one optical. Uses the same antennas. So for this would be if you had a cost-conscious customer, someone who wanted a little more bandwidth than you would find with your traditional sub-6 gig, this becomes very viable as a solution. Lastly, in changing gears a little bit, we have our street node. And the model in this is V60PTP. This is a very unique product, and this speaks volumes to Intracom's ability to invest in itself through its R&D facilities. With this product, they have 2 main differentials. First, comparatively in class, it is a full duplex FDD radio versus TDD through the competition. It comes in 4 different colors. So their goal here is to seamlessly blend into the background. Zero-touch Bluetooth configuration also built into it. Automation from a channel interference detection. We actively stock 2 different colors, this one and this one right here. But where the magic comes is how it installs itself. So in Europe, you can only close a street for 15 minutes. So we developed a product that can be installed before that 15-minute guideline, and it can be done with 1 person. So the way it would work is you would go in the field, let's say you're using a light pole. You pop it on the light pole, you point in the general direction of the other one, you run to the other side, you do the exact same thing. Internal in this radio, you have an antenna array. So it will oscillate 20 degrees vertically, 30 degrees horizontally. So this radio will self-align, and it also will self-heal. Give you an example. Let's say that you put this in a high storm area that is susceptible to high winds. And if you are a service provider, let's say that on occasion, from the windstorms, or if there's tornadoes, or if there's hurricanes, things become misaligned. With this product, what would happen, what that experience would look like, is when you install it, you set a threshold, a tolerance level, if you will. If you cross below that threshold or tolerance, it will put this radio in auto installation mode. So the experience of a person who installs this, instead of getting a call from a customer who has a downed radio, you'll see an error log. So you will not have to roll trucks, you won't have to pay personnel. And then again, we've made a product that virtually anyone can install in 15 minutes or less. Giving an example of how you would deploy this under what scenarios, a lot of these are going on light poles, they're going on building facades. There are Wi-Fi offload applications. There are video surveillance and security applications. This gives you an example of it on a building, seamlessly blending in. Another example at a metro entrance. This shows you in a busy downtown area. Now, with this product, where we've done a lot of deployments in all of this, it's not a one product fits all scenario. These are tools in a toolbox. We've, with both the V-band and the E-band product, provide ways where we can replace fiber, work in concert to fiber with physical diversity. We can extend connectivity into metro, suburban, and even rural areas. With all these, the beam is so narrow, it would be like a laser pointer. We had an application the other day. It was 1.2 miles, and the customer was literally in the middle of nowhere, Michigan. Their issue was tree coverage. We had a tower that was 65 feet, 70 feet, and tree levels at 55. And the problem was we couldn't make that work with the Fresnel zone with unlicensed. We couldn't make it work with licensed, but with millimeter wave and having such a finite beam, we virtually threaded the needle and offered a 3 gigabit per second solution where prior they struggled to find a way to get service to that customer. What this shows is Verizon installed this at the last Super Bowl. It was a gentleman by the name of Mike who did this, who didn't have experience in our radios, was able to put this up in 10 minutes. So one of the applications here could be disaster recovery, but it could also be sporting events. If you were working with sporting events to either backhaul the video surveillance, to do to bring POS to the merchants, all you would need is a CAL in this product, and in 15 minutes or less, you've got gigabit transport speeds. And this is an example of a video surveillance and security application plugging directly into it. Another application we had, and this speaks to working as a toolbox. We were in the middle of nowhere, and we couldn't figure out how to get from one end to the other. So we actually ran a linear deployment from light pole to light pole, and we used other technologies. In other technologies, it could be white space, it could be CBRS, it could be sub 6 gig, it could be access license. Again, it's a tool in a toolbox that allows you to really uniquely offer gigabit speeds in some pretty diverse environments. From an interface perspective, like the other radios, you can power this directly with DC or AC, or you can choose a Ethernet option for PoE, either indoor and outdoor. You've got 2 electrical, 1 SFP, and a direct DC or AC feed. Adaptive rate modulation, again, being very granular. You're not at 60 gig, rain isn't as devastating as it would be at 80, but you're at the same plateau as oxygen absorption. So trade-off is distance. This product's sweet spot is short distances, especially with the integrated antenna. So campus connectivity, MDUs. This is a perfect product to cost effectively bring gigabit speeds to buildings in close scenarios. And then the quantify, it's a little bit bigger than the size of your hand. So easy to install and operate. Applications, it could be for small cell, for 4G, 5G, it could be Wi-Fi or security surveillance applications. It could be last mile access for gigabit to the homes. But again, a majority of this is campus connectivity applications. So in this section, I'll quantify how and where these scenarios and products are deployed. For this one, we're giving a carrier application where if we wanted to do small cell backhaul or front haul traffic, we're using several things. On the blue side, we're using our FX80 link from our operator's POP site to bring internet connectivity to our remote sites. So we inject 3 gigabits of connectivity. We are then leveraging our street node to create a redundant ring. Again, a lot of our applications seem to be in some urban and rural areas. So in this example, we were taking internet speed from community to community, or with our FX radio from the ISP's POP site. Again, we're bringing that 3 gig of transport and then leveraging, and this could be another FX radio in a redundant ring architecture. It could be the 60 gig. You can replace the 3 gigs with 10 gigs based on your needs. But again, this gives you a versatile way to connect sites wirelessly, a versatile way to replace your sub 6 gig, to replace your traditional licensed, and a cost-effective way to replace fiber. In this application, we were working with a hotel or resort where we leveraged their skyscraper. And from there, we created 3 unique rings or clusters. And from those clusters, we used our 60 gig product to remotely connect these buildings. Same application, same premise. Now with this, you're able to do relay chains, you can do adds and drops, you can do protected distribution rings. Again, every one of these radios comes embedded with that layer 2 featured and rich, I don't want to say environments, but products. Now, I talked about this a couple times before of what's the future. Future, in my opinion, for millimeter wave is higher capacities, erased from 10 to 20 to 30 to 40. And it's going to be further distances. How do you get past 4 miles, 5 miles? How do you get to 7, 8? Because then you're truly going to displace licensed in some cases. So we are first to market also with a universal solution. Now, what that means is we've developed a licensed antenna that doesn't care who it works with. It doesn't care what the interface is. It's completely agnostic. It can work with Avion, Cambium, Dragonwave, Ericsson, Huawei. The list continues. Now, what this means is it's one of the first radios that you can actually spare. Most customers that I work with, they have experienced networks. There are a multitude of different products and solutions in there. And one of my constraints from distribution's perspective has always been licensed antennas. They're too proprietary, which means for customers, for distributors, for VARs, it's next to impossible to spare in stock, let alone future-proof. So what we've been able to create is a new product line that allows one thing to replace everything else. And we took that one step further. And that one step further is a dual band antenna. A dual band antenna that doesn't care what license radio you use with it. So 2 applications here. Let's say that you've got a fiber replacement opportunity and now you're at 7 miles. And traditionally it doesn't work. Now there's other people out there with a dual band. I can think of 2 right now. But you have to use their licensed radio. So what happens if you have radios already existing? They're forcing you to buy their product. But what happened if you could just reuse something that was already existing? You save money, you save time. So in this application, you leverage what's in your network already, and you use that to hit 7 miles and offer multi-gig transport speeds. Second application is, let's say that you have 11 gig or 18 most likely, or 23, and it's got a 1-foot and 2-foot dish. And it's an older system, it's an Exalt radio, it's a Dragonwave radio, and your single core, maybe it's 400 megs, and it's not enough because you got more people like me who are streaming services. So instead of ripping and replacing everything, you drop in a dual pole dish, you drop in a 3 gig or 10 gig millimeter wave radio, and now you've taken those troublesome links that were overburdened and you revitalize them at a fraction of the cost. So that's what we're talking about today, is the ability with Intracom to offer you the next generation of product that will save you time, that will save you money, and most importantly, will work with almost every application. We've got a 4+0 coupler. If you want to have 40 gigs, seems extreme, we can offer that. And we've wrapped that into a promotion. Now, we launched this at Wispapalooza, and we had a fantastic showing. Based on popular demand, we have extended this promotion. What you'll notice is we listed price as lowest total cost available. What I ask is, bring us your links. Let's set up a meeting and let us understand what you're trying to accomplish. And our pledge, our guarantee is, collectively, we're going to sit down and we're going to find the best solution for you at the lowest total cost. My name is Alex Cernick, and I certainly appreciate everyone's time. We'll open this floor to Q&A.
Okay, Alex, we did get someone who asked a question. Are flat panels allowed in the U.S.?
Okay, so I'm also going to take this opportunity to introduce two additional people. And this is our team at Intracom Telecom. We have on the line Darminder, who is Intracom's CEO. And we also have George, who is Intracom's Director of Technical Services. Question was, again, I'm sorry.
Are flat panels allowed in the U.S.?
Great question. George, do you have a definitive answer? I want to say no. I think that there are several people who are looking to do so with integrated dishes. George and Darminder, are you able to talk, I guess, for Switch? Okay, we'll go with it. We're having an issue.
Alex, can you hear us?
Yes, yes.
Alex?
Yes, you're coming through.
Okay, all right, sorry about that. Yes, actually, we did respond to the question. I don't know if you can see it on the Q&A session, but as far as the flat panel antenna at the 80 gigahertz or E-band, that is not allowed by the FCC.
Okay, there is another question. It might have been answered, but the audience did not get to see all the answers. So another question is, can you use a 3-foot or larger antenna with 80 gigahertz?
Yes, you can find 3-foot antennas, but they're extremely difficult to align. The lobe at that frequency is less than 0.5 degree with just a 2-footer, so it's almost impossible to do it with a 3-footer.
Okay, just to be clear, specifically in the U.S., correct?
That is correct.
Okay. We have another question. How does this product compare against the competition?
This is a great question as well. So just let me take a step back in that 3-foot dish. Why we've designed our dual band solution is to push the envelope on what's possible in regards to distances. So that dual band antenna design, our game plan is to be able to be viable at your 5, 6, 7, 8 mile range, maybe even more based on when you're located. How do we compare to our competition? Our strength is our ability to invest in ourselves through our radios and our R&D. We're one of the lucky companies that has an antenna line built into it. So it gives us the ability not only to have a very impressive roadmap on our radios, but that same impressive roadmap on our antennas. Comparatively, I would say that we have the ability to go further distances. We have the ability to be more reliable and to offer more bandwidth than anything in our class. And I open this up. If you've got coordinates, if you've got applications, let's set up a meeting and let's discuss how we can make a difference in your network.
Okay, great. We have another question. Are there any online path calc tools, or how do you go about getting a path calc completed?
Another great question. We are working on a tool. What we wanted to do is create something that was a little bit different, that provided not only a reasonable expectation of performance, but also help with some of the configurations. That's coming out. In regards to how to get path calcs now, engage myself through CTI and we'll provide you a link budget analysis. We'll turn this around in less than 24 hours. All we would need to know is obviously coordinates, antenna heights, and capacities.
Okay. This one's a little bit of a longer one, so follow me here. How do you folks feel your GX80 compares to, say, the Ciclu 8010FX? Semi-related, the dual band antennas, I believe it was mentioned that they were 18 gigahertz, can be used with any vendor, or is there a supported list similar to the universal antenna? We have some older triangular Dragon Wave in 1823 that would be nice to get dual band going on.
Okay. So I'll take the dual band question. So like the universal antenna list, it'll be very similar architectures when we look at the dual band product. And Trango uses a REMIC interface. So REMIC, Dragon Wave, Bridge Wave, E-Band, all of those would be viable. So I mean, that's in my opinion, that's what makes this thing great. Is it's going to allow you to drop in 3 gigs, 10 gigs into those existing networks. In
So
regards,
then how do we feel the GX80 compares to the Ciclu 8010FX?
Yeah, Alex, I'll take that one. Well, basically, we can support the 10 gigabits with only a 1500 megahertz channel. The 8010 requires a 2000 megahertz channel. The difference translates obviously to better system gain or higher path length.
Okay, so are the dual band, and can the dual band antennas be used with any vendor, or is there a supported list similar to the universal antenna?
there'll be a supported list, but it'll cover the customers that he's looking for. Expectation is that it will be available shortly. It's part of our 2020 Q1 strategy. I would suggest for them to reach out if we can get a definitive idea of what they're looking for. That will be part of our priority.
Okay, there's another question. Do these radios require FCC licensing, and if so, what is the process?
Okay, the 80 gig does, the 60 gig does not. We have a partner through Micronet. Very simple. So with 80 gig, you require a license. You only need one for your company, and then you do a registration. We have a very easy to use process. It's a one-page document that Micronet was kind enough to develop for us. So very easy to use process. We could certainly provide that information. Again, I'd recommend reach out to us. We'll put together the link budget analysis. If we can get an understanding of what you want to accomplish, we've got a lot of ways to get it done for you.
Okay, and do you offer any type of performance guarantee?
Great question. Yes, we do. We have a performance guarantee program. We made it as simple as a marketing document and an SOP where we'll design the link through path loss. We will provide the link budget analysis. We collectively sit down and we define the criteria of success. We then help your installer through training understand the radio, provide them with the details, and as this radio is installed, they're traditionally 30-day eval periods. God, I think we've done 6 in the last month, and what I like about performance guarantees, it brings us all into alignment, but from your perspective, it gives you peace of mind, right? You're spending a lot on radios. We guarantee every one of our solutions.
Great. Well, we have only three minutes left. If there's any other questions, if you can just type them in, and otherwise we will conclude this webinar. And I do not see anybody typing any questions right now. So I thank you, Alex, and the Intracom team. And we also thank everyone who attended this webinar. We will have a recording so that anybody, if they would like to play back this webinar and get a little more information, you'll feel free to play it back, and we will have it either emailed or in our newsletter, but we will notify you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. And this concludes our webinar.